is being covered. Then we also covered what is the different financial function. Then there are different components of it. And also we will gone through the specifically that diagram through which you could able to understood what is exactly the financial components. Then one thing that we must have to understood, sometimes question came like these four components are highly interdependent and interrelated with each other. I think in yesterday class, I have already gave you certain points on that particular thing, that these four components are highly interrelated with each other. Now, how these are highly interrelated? While we are talking about financial market is a broader concept, and when we are talking about financial market sometimes do not have any kind of physical appearances, and sometimes it is do have physical appearances. Simply, whatever the institutions available, these institutions do have physical appearances where the market do not have, certain market do not have physical appearances. But under this market, whatever institutions are there, that institutions have enough informations, infrastructure through which they could able to operate. So I told you in this regard that while we're talking about financial institution or selling of a financial product, trust is the major factor over there. If trust is not there, then I don't think people will buy, or people eagerly want to buy the product. So the financial institutions do have a physical appearance, and through that physical appearance, the product are being offered. Third was that instruments. So the instruments are those kind of products which are available in the market. So instruments are those products which are available in the market, maybe long term, maybe short term, maybe with a little bit of fluctuative risk, or maybe without any risk, that is very composed. That means interest is fixed and all. Then came to financial services, how it is interrelated with the instruments. Whatever instruments we normally see, instruments instrument that instrument normally followed by certain different kind of services. Say instrument amuku kichi services douchi. That's why we seeing that instruments. So this is services which are fund-based services or fee-based services. Fund-related information or the investment in fund and return in fund, that is called fund-based instruments, and those instruments which are came along with the fee services. Only you have to pay a fee. So that was, but services you can enjoy. So that was called fee-based services. Moving on, what are the advantages? See on your screen certain advantages and disadvantages of the financial system. Now, financial system advantages for nowadays financial system is came along with the internet facilities, which very proposively called as the doorstep financial system. That means financial system came along with the technology and internet facility. That's why nowadays any kind of product you buy, there is a transaction cost is very low, and certain there is no transaction cost. Jehetu ita gote internet based है sarlani, eta gote technology based है galani. That's why the transaction cost of the products, sometimes it is zero, sometimes it is very low. There is very minimum default risk. risk is very minimum. That means any financial system who offers product, offers services, they try to minimize the risk on the head of the customers. Subtle means it a financial manager first and foremost work to minimize the risk on the head of the customers. ସେମାନେ ଯେତେ ଚେଷ୍ଟା କରିବେ ତାଙ୍କ organization should take the maximum risk and the customer will take the minimum risk. Then transparency in procedures. Nowadays all procedures are online, all procedures are open. It was being written over the website of the particular organization, particular investing organizations or institution. So it was definitely maintained transparency, or not only in procedures but also in everything, in regulation, in payment, in finalizing the interest rate, everywhere the transparency has to be maintained. So these are certain advantages of the financial system. So where we study certain advantages, we should have to study certain disadvantages also. Certain disadvantages disadvantages of the for financial system. It has a wide range of interest system. Yes, apan mane bhi dekhithibe. Even in bank re bhi apan fixed deposit rates dekhujani, it will differ from bank to bank. One bank is offering 6%, someone is offering 6.5, someone is offering 7, someone is offering 5.9. So that means what, even in while we're talking about RBI is one particular institution joti ki interest rate ta re konosi prakar default risk nahi, eti konosi prakar risk nahi investor pai ki seti bhi apan dekhuchani interest rate varies from bank to bank, from product to product, from services to services, from offer to offer. So that means what, in this particular financial system the interest rate is absolutely came along with the wide range. Suresh Kumar garo pakaoni screen upare. If you don't understood, don't touch the keys and all. Fine. Then higher rate of interest. Interest rate is very high in certain particular certain particular investments. If you go for a loan in bank, loan interest rates are very high. Specifically, bank arranges this kind of interest rate according to the risk management system. Now, what is risk management system? The products, the loan, the the advances which are fixed with the mortgage system, these interest rate are little bit less. Apan joguda dekhibe ki mortgage system soita astuchi, jemti ki if you take a loan against a particular asset like gold or maybe land, you could able to find out the interest rate is little bit less. If you in the same time, if you take a loan as a personal loan where you do not have a certain job, certainty of job, certainty of job nahi, fir bhi apan gote personal loan nechati, seti dekhibe apankara interest rate bahut adhika rahibo. Any short term loan, any online loan, so these are came along with a high interest rate. Educational loan also came along with a very high interest rate. The reason है ना, in 2012 there is a case is there in the Supreme Court. It is being decreed by the person that bank cannot hold your original degree if you take loan. That means what, 2012 ପୂର୍ବରୁ ଯେତେବେଳେ ଆପଣ ଲୋନ ନଉଥିଲେ, bank ଆପଣ degree ପାଉଥିଲେ, bank ଆପଣଙ୍କୁ original degree ରଖୁଥିଲା until you have not pay the or completely disburse the loan amount. Ajika date re bank semti rakhi paribani, it is the court order and bank has to obey it. That's why the interest rate is high. Even if you go to the stock exchange, you could able to find out there is no interest system, but the dividend profit margins ya to fir apan equity or preference share investment karichanti, the rates are very high. Sometimes the customer has to face loss and sometimes customer has to face a high range of profit. So that's why it is kafi, the rates are very high and it is varied from each other. Third one, if it is go to the informal financial system, one of the disadvantages of informal financial system, that is these are highly unregulated. So under a co-institutions, if I'm giving one example, one institution came under this unregulated, financial system, informal financial system is chit funds. One thing I have skipped, I told you, that is evolution of financial system. Currency, currency is there in our sabhyata. Our currency chalu hela. First kind of institution or financial institution which is being, seen, that is called a chit fund. Prathama prakarara jo first money lending thila. Money lending pare jodi apan gote organization or institution, money lending eti individual loko korutile. तापरे जो इवोल्यूशन फाइनेंशियल इवोल्यूशन द नेक्स्ट पढ़ाउथिला कोन ना चिट फंड ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस. So it is one of the primitive organization of India अपन कोइ परिबे, not India in the world, but ajika date re chit fund organizations are highly deregulated or irregulated, and it will not obey the obey the rules regulation of the RBI. That's why these are called informal financial institutions or financial system, but it is highly unregulated by itself. Now, ami jo chatta component padlu, these are highly interdependent. I have already told you, interactive, closely linked and competing with each other every time. Moving on to understood what are the functions of the Indian financial system. गोटे सिंपल ट्रिक मु आपण मानकु कहूची, जेमिति हेले भी गोटे कोनोसी जेमिति कि सेबी रो फंक्शन पडू, या तो फिर आरबीआई रो फंक्शन पडू, या तो फिर फाइनेंशियल सिस्टम रो फंक्शन पडू, नले मनी मार्केट रो कहार तो गोटे फंक्शन निश्चिंत पडिबो आपण के एग्जाम रे. फाइनेंशियल फाइनेंशियल सिस्टम रो फंक्शंस ता सब बेले कॉमन रुहे समस्तंग सहित. आपण जदि एई आदरो आपण थरो 8टा फंक्शन अछि कि तदरो 7टा फंक्शन आपण मन रखि देले आ आपनकर मन पडुनी कि सेबी रो फंक्शंस कोन, आपण एई फंक्शंस गुडा बी सेति लिखि परिबे. आपनकर मन पडुनी मनी मार्केट रो फंक्शंस कोन, डिपॉजिटरी सिस्टम्स रो फंक्शंस कोन, या तो फिर आपनकर मन पडुनी कस्टमर प्रोटेक्शन रो एक्ट रो फंक्शंस कोन. सब बेले मन रखतंतु दीज आर द फंक्शंस ऑफ फाइनेंशियल सिस्टम रो जो फंक्शंस थाए, these are completely common to every particular sector. So जदि आधु आपको आपण मन रखि दउचंती आ अन्य गुडा को नाही मन नाही, then you can write and you can secure accurate marks. So let's find out what are the functions of Indian financial system. First function of financial system is to mobilize and allocate savings. Now what do you understood by mobilize and allocate savings? छोट बेले देखछन आपण खाता भितर गोटे पत्र पुरी दउथिले, से पत्रडा आ गोटे छोट पत्र दादर बाहरुथिला, बर्ड हेकी बाहरुथिला. सो मनी इज नॉट लाइक दैट ना पिला माने. सो मनी कोन, मनी को आपण को प्रॉपर्ली मोबिलाइज करिया को पडिबो, अलोकेट करिया को पडिबो. So the organizations, the institutions who are investing in institutions, or the companies or institutions who seeking money to make their business, they seeking money to start or run their business. So semane kon करंती ना, जो पैसा को नियंती ताको different way रे allocate करंती, ताको different way रे investment करंती, so that the money has to be moved in a proper way. So once the money is moving in a proper way, it will came along with the profit. Now the profit has to be deposited or distributed amongst the investors. कोठी profit अपन को interest है कि ना share होची, कोठी dividend है कि ना share होची, कोठी preference है कि share होची. Fine, but अपन customer सहित और investing investors मन को सहित, those who have invested their money at your organization with a trust, ସେମାନଙ୍କ ପାଖରେ ଆପଣ with a return ପହଞ୍ଚୁଛନ୍ତି. So that is what called mobilization and allocation of money, with which create trust amongst the people. अपन जदि mobilize न करिवे, allocate न करिवे savings को, then you cannot distribute it or cannot able to distribute the interest, dividend, or maybe the other financial benefits to the investors. Second function says that it is one of the major work of the financial system to monitor the corporate performance. ଯେମିତି କି ଆପଣ ଆମର ଯୋଉ ତିନିଟା ବଡ ବଡ ରହୁଛି ରେଗୁଲେଟରୀ ଅଥରିଟି, ସେମାନେ ହିଁ ମନିଟର କରିବେ କର୍ପୋରେଟ ପରଫର୍ମାନ୍ସ। ଗୋଟେ ପରେ ଗୋଟେ ବୁଝିବ, ଯେମିତି କି ଆରବିଆଇ ନେଇଯାନ୍ତୁ। ଆରବିଆଇ କେମିତି ମନିଟର କରୁଛି କର୍ପୋରେଟ ପରଫର୍ମାନ୍ସ? RBI always looking forward to the the people who do have a current account, who do have institutions or organizations, and for that organization proposal re semane account kholuchanti, transactions koruchanti, or maybe the RBI was always looking forward to those people who are the advance taker of a very high denomination, je mane koti koti tankar advances nouchanti, loan nouchanti, short term loans, long term loans nouchanti. So it is the duty of RBI, it is the duty of the commercial bank to monitor their performance. से सबले मॉनिटर करथि, धर जने 5 कोटी टंका नेछि बैंक, तो बैंक कोन करथि ना सब बेले मॉनिटर करूथिबो जे तार से प्रॉफिट रे अछि कि नहीं, तार ऑर्गेनाइजेशन केमति चलछि, से अर्न करूछि कि नहीं तार प्रॉफिट, सो दैट से बैंक को भी तार लोन सुझी परिबो कि नहीं। जोटी देखिबो कि से ऑर्गेनाइजेशन इज नाउ बिकम सिक एंड ऑल, व्हाटएवर मॉर्गेजेस आर देयर, the bank has to monitor that mortgage also, je mortgage ro condition kon achi, thik achi ki nahi, so that jodi performance poor hochi then or NPA hochi, then we could able to adjust ourselves. नम्रता तुम भी घर पकाउछो, अरे कई स्लाइड ऊपर कई घर पकाउछो। So this is what called the corporate performance by RBI. SEBI केमती देखुची, SEBI time to time create awareness program to identify the corporate performance, because here the corporate houses are the organizations who open their their shares for the general investors. एटी corporate performance होची केमती ना, जदि आपनकर कोनोसी भी shareholders is making a complaint against any corporate houses, then the SEBI was active to make settlement of that particular issue or particular challenges through giving some notice to the corporate house and the corporate house to resolve the particular problem. Third one is provide payment and settlement system. आप इनकी कौन करचंदी, जेमति कि RBI and IRDA of India has appointed a bank ombudsman officer. Bank ombudsman officer or insurance ombudsman officer, तार major काम हला कौन? The major काम हला, if there is any complaint raised by the customer, they has to resolve it within 15 days. जदि रिजॉल्व न होची सेमान तो निजे करिवेनी ना, धर जो बैंक अंडर रे अपन का अकाउंट अछि, दे ट्राई टू रिजॉल्व द प्रोसेस थ्रू दैट बैंक। जदि बैंक अपन को रिजॉल्व न करि पड़छि प्रॉब्लम, सबले मन रखंतु बैंक हैज टू पे द काइंड पर्टिकुलर अमाउंट ऑफ मनी, एंड जते अपन को दिन गडी गडी जिवो, द मनी इज बीइंग मल्टीप्लाइड विथ ईच अदर and it become a huge amount. If the bank was not able to resolve it, it has to be given to the customer. So that is what the monetary system of the bank and IRDA of India, semane kon karchanti na, bank ombudsman officers rakhuchanti, those people who make settlement of the problem raised through the customers for the betterment of the customer. Now came to SEBI. SEBI do have a settlement house. Fine. SEBI do have a settlement house because SEBI is an organization where whatever investment we made, that came along with a very high risk. So it is jadra apna risky format re kichi be investment koruchandi, it is very essential that you have to make your settlement easily. So settlement जदि न होची, like अपन dividend receive करू नहंती, price raising होची, inter raising होची product रो, दा माने price raising माने हला simple word रे बुझिया को गले कोन ना, गोटे कंपनी अछि, से तार शेयर गुडा को देखौछि कि मो शेयर गुडा लॉस रे चली छी तो गोटे कंपनी रे शेयर जेतले लॉस रे चलथिबो नाइदर मी नॉर यू नॉर एनीवन वांट्स टू मेक इन्वेस्टमेंट इन दैट ऑर्गेनाइजेशन गॉट इट बट एक्चुअली प्राइस रीजिंग कोंदी माने प्राइस रे चेंजेस देखेबा बट एक्चुअली से ऑर्गेनाइजेशन रे कोनोसी प्रकार एमते इश्यूज एंड चैलेंजेस नथिबो अभी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन कोन करबो निज हिसाब रे लोकन को बिकिबो लाइक निजर नियर एंड डियर मन को निजर प्रोडक्ट बिकिबो आदर कोन हबो ना ऑर्गेनाइजेशन जो प्रॉफिट अर्न करिबो दैट इज अंडर देयर ओन हैंड तांको निज पाखरे ही रहिला दैट इज कॉल्ड प्राइस रेजिंग व्हिच इज वन ऑफ द मेजर issue or challenges came in the financial system of SEBI and for that settlement house always looking forward to the corporate performance second gote प्रकार problem arise करे जोटा कि SEBI रे बहुत maximum time that was dividend not paid in a regular interval है ना हमें जितले इन्वेस्टमेंट करू हमें तो इंटरेस्ट पे इन्वेस्टमेंट करू ना हमें डिविडेंड पे इन्वेस्टमेंट करू कोडी स्टॉक एक्सचेंज रे if a customer is not getting his or her dividend in a particular interval then why she or he will make an investment right so जदि आपण गोटे रेगुलर इंटरवल लेकिन आपण को जेतले इन्वेस्टमेंट करूचंती इन्वेस्टमेंट प्रपोजल रे लिखा हिची केते दिन रे थरे आपण डिविडेंड पाइबे if you are not receiving your dividend you make a complaint on this payment and settlement house then they will try to monitor it and resolve it within 7 working days so that's why this financial system kon kare na provide kare payment and settlement system bujhi pauchandi pilane you all understood because this is what why I am elaborating these functions because it is common for all thore bujhi dele apna sabuthre likhibe if you have any jodi no bujhi paribe you please ask me third hela optimum allocation of risk bearing and reduction that I already give you certain example on that the organizations jo mane thandi like RBI ho IRDA ho or SEBI ho this regulatory institution always try to minimize the risk on the head of the customers emane kon karandi na customer ro head re tankara minimize kari debe kon na they always try to minimize the customers wait a minute they always try to minimize the risk on the head of the customer eti risk bear ki karibo the risk has to be beared by the financial institutions tar ଗୋଟେ example ମୁଁ ଦଉଛି ଦେଖ ଯେମିତି କି ତମେ preference share ରେ equity preference share କିଣିଛ ଆଉ ଜଣେ non preference equity share କିଣିଛି Mr X preference equity share କିଣିଛି Mr Y non preference equity share normal equity share କିଣିଛି ଯେତେବେଳେ कंपनी लॉस करूची फर्स्ट कोन हो जे प्रेफरेंस जे इक्विटी शेयर किनिची ताको फर्स्ट डिस्बर्स करिवो कोन डिस्बर्स केमती करिवो ना व्हाटएवर मनी द पर्सन इज हैविंग व्हाटएवर प्रॉफिट और लॉस जहां भी अछि ताको से लोक को जहां से प्रॉमिस करिची जे केते की टंकार लाभ दबो बेली इक्विटी शेयर होल्डर को से आगे ताको डिस्बर्स करदुची ए जो प्रेफरेंस इक्विटी शेयर होल्डर रहउची ताको केमती डिस्बर्स करिवो ना गोटे टाइम रे जेतले कंपनी इज लॉसिंग इज प्रॉफिट एंड लॉसिंग इज आइडेंटिटी आल्सो से कोन करबा तापरे पे आउट करिवो सेल एंड पे आउट माने कोन तार जते एसेट्स अछि इक्विपमेंट्स हला लैंड हला तार इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर हला ताको बिकी की पे आउट माने सेटलमेंट करिवो जते इन्वेस्टर्स अछन जो 20% प्रेफरेंस इक्विटी होल्डर अछंती से निजर इक्विपमेंट निजर लैंड इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर बिकी किना भी तांकर पैसा दबो मे बी इट इज इन लॉस बट पैसा दबो बुझी होची so that means what आपण जदी इन्वेस्टमेंट करूचंती मन रखिता आपण जीरो नेगेटिव वैल्यू रे जिबेनी it will definitely the work of the organization to pay out so that is what called the risk आपण minimum जिबो customer पाखको maximum जिबो to the organization to the institution who is offering our products to the people. Next one is called disseminate price related information. this point is very usual to all of us. देखो RBI रे किछि changes हैला, and the changes was made in commercial bank also. Then आपण जदि से commercial bank रा customer हेतिबे, then there are certain SMSs are came to your phone that these changes are made by your bank. So that changes may be in regulation, that changes may be in interest rate, that changes may be in payouts, that changes may be in settlement, that changes may be in structural. So whatever changes, it will came to your phone through some emails, or to your account through some emails, or to you as some SMSs. So eguda information guda apan page eventually पहुंचुथिबो time to time. Got it? So that was called disseminate. Disseminate money apanଙ୍କର price related jaha bhi information achi, that has to be reached to the individual customer properly. And बहुत time रे bank अंकरे announce कर दिए through the paper, virtual media, through the TV media. Then the 200 notes has to be stopped. And if you have 2000 notes, and if you have 2000 notes at your home, you have to submit it by September 30th. So you have 3 months of time to find out the 2000 notes. If you kept at your home, you have to deposit that bank. And in that way, the RBI announces to close down the operation of 2000 notes. जदि आपण बहुत दिन हेबण मार्क करूथिबे 2000 notes आउ RBI छापु नथिला since a long back. Fine, ebe se close down करूची. So this is a kind of information which has to reach to individual person. ताकू आपण कोन करी, आपण publicly open करी दियंतु, आपण TV रे देई दियंतु. You have to make this advertisement on print media, electronic media, virtual media, and through the SMSs to the individual customer. So everyone got the information, that is called disseminate informations to each and every individual. The power function rahila offer portfolio adjustment facilities. Now what is exactly the portfolio and how it is being adjusted? For an example, Mr. X is there in Ms. Kaun Banega Crorepati, and he got 1 crore rupees as a amount he got from Kaun Banega Crorepati. And Mr. X is a very uncommon, it's a common person. He do not have information about the pro and cons of the financial system. So see, kon karibo? He has 2-3 options. One option that we all aware about, that we need to take some expert opinions. And he will also go to some people who are expert in investment and take the information from them. So while you have a huge amount of money, one has to make a portfolio. Portfolio is like a bucket which have different financial instruments to or for investment. आपनकर एटा हला कोन गोटे bucket type रो जोथरे कि बहुत प्रकार financial instruments रहउची. Some are secured, some are unsecured. Secured कहले जोठी आपनको कोनोसी प्रकार default risk नहीं. Unsecured कहले जोठी आपण risky format रो किछि risk आपनको bear करिको पड़िबो. बुझेला? So first they will make a portfolio of having different products. Some are risky, some are risky. Then they will try to make an adjustment of money so that the person never face any kind of loss. And eventually they will go and invest these kind of facilities in the financial market. So taku ame kochu kono offer portfolio adjustment facilities. So e kamo hela kaharo AMCs, asset management company manankore e kamo. Lower the transaction cost, it is already being discussed by us, so I will not going to be discussed again. And the last function is promote the process of financial deepening and broadening. Now, what do you understood by deepening and broadening? Deepening and broadening are two concepts through which the financial system reach to its optimum, inclusions. ଯେମିତି କି ସ୍କୁଲ ରେ ମୁଁ ଯେତେବେଳେ ପାଠ ପଢୁଥିଲି, in that time period also I do have my scholarship, but in that time I do not have to open an account to get my scholarship. ମୁଁ କେମିତି ପାଉଥିଲି, ଆମ ସ୍କୁଲ ରେ ଗୋଟେ ପୋଷ୍ଟ ଅଫିସ ଥିଲା, ପୋଷ୍ଟ ଅଫିସ କୁ ସ୍କଲାରशिप ଆସୁଥିଲା, ଦେନ୍ ଆମ ସ୍କୁଲ ର ପ୍ରିନ୍ସିପାଲ ଯିଏ ଥିଲେ ସେ ମତେ ଗୋଟେ ଲେଟର ଦଉଥିଲେ, ମୁଁ ସେ ଲେଟର ଧରିକି ଯାଉଥିଲି ପୋଷ୍ଟ ଅଫିସ ରେ ଦେଖୁଥିଲି, ପୋଷ୍ଟ ଅଫିସ वाला ମତେ କ୍ୟାଶ ଦଉଥିଲା, ତ ସେଥିରେ କୌଣସି ପ୍ରକାର ମତେ ବ୍ୟାଙ୍କ ଆକାଉଣ୍ଟ ଖୋଲିବାକୁ ପଡୁନଥିଲା. ସୋ देयर इज नो फाइनेंशियल इंक्लूजन. ଆଜିକା ଡେଟ୍ ରେ କଣ ହଉଛି ନା, if someone is getting a scholarship, he or she has to talk to his having a account number first. First ସେ କଣ କରୁଛି, ଗୋଟେ ଆକାଉଣ୍ଟ ନମ୍ବର ଆକାଉଣ୍ଟ ଟେ ଖୋଲୁଛି, ସେ ଆକାଉଣ୍ଟ ଟେ ଖୋଲିଲା ପରେ ସେ ଆକାଉଣ୍ଟ କୁ ନେଇକି ଯାଉଛି, and he has to show that account in the bank or somewhere else, and accordingly he is being paid. से account को से पैसा आସୁଛି सरकारଙ୍କ तरफରୁ. That is what called today's financial inclusion. बुझी पाउछन्ते, एटा हला गोटे प्रकार financial inclusion जोटा कि प्रायतः बैंक और गवर्नमेंट एंड आरबीआई करूची to facilitate the financial broadening. आउ कोन ब्रॉडेनिंग रे आसुची, आउ आसुची एटा हला आपनकर जत्ते लोकंकर अकाउंट खोलियो, जेमति 9th क्लास पिला को साइकिल दिया जाउची, तत्रे भी अकाउंट खोला जाउची. So these are certain point of deepening and broadening. आ छडा कोन आसुची, आ छडा आसुची आपनकर नै जानतु छोटा अकाउंट, सॉरी, यस, ओके. So आउ कोन आसुची, जेमति कि आपनकर आजिका डेट रे you see there is a lots of small payment banks, UPI system, scanning system. Small payment banks nowadays can give a loan, short-term loans up to 1 lakh rupees. So ये जो financial institutions रहिला, आजिका डेट रे बहुत लोक देखबे तांकर बैंक अकाउंट नै, that their Paytm account. They do not have a bank account, their Paytm account. So now it is a bank, it's a small payment bank. So ये जो छोटो-छोटो financial institutions, they will move along with a highest number of customers, and they somehow try to interrelate these customers with RBI. So this is what called broadening of the financial system by introducing small institutions into the financial sector. This is what broadly ame jodi kohuchu, what is the function of financial system. Now, what are the elements as required for the well functioning financial system? First one, if the legal and regulatory authorities and the legal and regulations are very strong. जदि आपनकर legal and regulations, legal कहिले आपनकर judiciary system, आउ जो आपण rule regulations बनै चंदी for the smooth conduct of financial system, if that was strong, then you could expect a well functioning financial system. If you have a stable money, जेमति कि RBI रो major function रोची creation of stable money and supply of money. Stable money माने कोड, stable money माने पैसा एंती stable करने ये रे रहिबो नो. Stable money माने आपनकर जत्ते भी financial institutions रोची तांका पाखरे enough amount of assets and money रहिबो, so that whenever someone is asking for a loan, advances, the organization do have ability to provide them financing or advances, facilities. If someone will ask for 10 crore rupees as a loan, that bank has to be, has a stable money, so that bank will provide that 10 crore rupees of, a loan to that particular person or individual person or maybe the organization. That is called stable money. Stable money कहले आ गोटे word रे आपण बुझी परबे, availability of money. Sound public finance and public debt. So public finance means you have to create a lots of varieties of loan and advances, so that when a public wants to adopt or wants to take a loan or finance, they do have a large number of variety, and on base of that variety they will buy the products. And public debt also being available. finances and debt sabu available rahiba darkar. A central bank has to regulate everything. It has to maintain a sound banking system. Information system or IT, bahut adhika nowadays these information system or IT plays a vital role in banking or other financial system for the smooth conduct. Seta B apanko regulated haba darkar. Well functioning security market. So these are the elements of well functioning financial system. These are already being discussed.
पूर्व स्लाइड टा देखिए कि वेल फंक्शनिंग से जो
group re this slide is having first unit and second unit. Once second unit over, I will share this in your group.
Thank you, ma'am.
So this is very common. Yes.
Yes, madam. Madam, notes provide करिए ना.
हाँ, notes भी provide करिए. This is my core paper, so I do have my handwritten notes. What I have typed, मैं already type करी देइची. सेटा पूरा तमरो जेमती मो ओबी की सॉरी मार्केटिंग नोट्स प्रिपेयर करके आपण मानको सहित शेयर करथिली मनथिबो दी. गोटे word document which includes 5 units. So yes, I do have this paper notes भी. I will share, don't worry. आपण मानको सहित मो सेटा शेयर करि देबी. Along with this PPT also I will share, and that notes also share. So don't worry about that. आपण माने concept गुडा बुझी दियंतु. तापरे आपण notes पढिबे, and I hope you will be very clear about your studies. So don't worry about that. Some of the things I skipped because this particular PPT is for 40 classes, but I to 10 class re sariba. It is bank based and market based financial system. Khali gote simple jinsa buchantu. India is one particular country joti ki ame bank based financial system dekhuchu. That means ajika amar India re maximum people invested in bank. But apana bahar konosi bhi country jantu, any developed country like Japan, you go to China, you go to America, tankar bank based financial system ta bank based nuhe. Tankar hela market based financial system joti ki bank bhi market saita interrelated hiki rahuchi. So these are this is what your 4 financial components, what mu already apan ko class ra arambha re description deiji, apan mane padhibe kali descriptions gura. Now came to the economic development. Let me check one more thing. Yes. Okay. Now we need to study economic development. Before that, I will definitely want to drag your eyes to one point, that is economic growth. Growth bina development nahi. Am I wrong or right? Fine. If there is a growth, then we said we will go to towards the economic development. Now, what is the relation between growth and development? A relation to kame kochu kono? Availability and affordability. Growth is called availability. Development is called affordability. जेमती कि हमर प्रति वर्ष देखिबे सरकार तंगर देखंदी जे एई पर्टिकुलर सेक्टर लाइक एग्रीकल्चरल सेक्टर रे 10% रो ग्रोथ हिची. एजुकेशनल सेक्टर रे 5% रो ग्रोथ हिची. हॉस्पिटैलिटी सेक्टर और हॉस्पिटल्स रे और हेल्थ सेक्टर रे 50% रो ग्रोथ हिची. I admit, yes, growth hichi. That means ame gotte particular sector naba, that is called hospitals, healthcare sector. Ajika date re after COVID, if you see if you look around your particular area, you could able to find out large number of hospitals now available for the general well-beings. आम कि बहुत हॉस्पिटल अवेलेबल रहउची. जुआडे आपण आखि पकेबे जोटी गोटे छोटो जगहटे थिला गोटे छोटो हॉस्पिटल हि जाईची आफ्टर कोविड. That means what? If government is saying that is the healthcare, now the healthcare institutions increased by 40% and the growth was there in 40%, we admit, yes, growth hichi. That means This is called availability of the hospital, healthcare for the general public, which is growth by 40%. Now growth heigala. Then asuntu, that means it is called accessibility. But now came to affordability. Affordability means India ro kete percent population ei jo private hospital ku afford kari paribe. बुझी पाउचंती गवर्नमेंट तार प्राइवेट हॉस्पिटल को एनओसी दे देला भाई तू बना से प्राइवेट हॉस्पिटल 40% नुआ प्राइवेट हॉस्पिटल्स बनीगला गवर्नमेंट देखै देला कि आमे भाई हेल्थ केयर रे 40% पे इंक्रीज करिछु 40% ग्रोथ हेछि बट it is not about growth is not development is how many percentage of people can really avail that facilities for themselves. तो आमे जो छोटो बड़ो हॉस्पिटल्स देखुछु जहार पैसा बहुत अधिका if you take a help of a healthcare of a private hospital, even if you go for one day ICU, you have to spend 50,000, 60,000 rupees. Now India is a country where people are the average earner, slow earner, low earner, तीन प्रकार सेठी केते लोक एई जो facilities टाको अवेल करि पउचंती that is only 10%. पेन जहा आगुरु थिला तार 10% लोक अधिका अवेल करूचन. So do we agree that our economic development is no? This is not economic development. Economic development केते बेला हो जति हमर 40% ग्रोथ हेची आ इंडिया रो पूर्व डिनोमिनेशन हिसाब रे आउ 40% अधिका लोक से फैसिलिटीज को रेंडर करूचंती अवेल करूचंती ताहले हमें कहबो ग्रोथ सहित डेवलपमेंट होची. आपण माने बुझी पउचंती. So this is what of clear connection of growth and development. Growth came along with the affordability, but development is came along with the accessibility. जदि खाली healthcare industry आपण बनै देले but the general public, the people for whom you are preparing these hospitals, they could not avail the functions of avail the products of the healthcare industry, then how we are developed? We are only having a growth. Which important, this is what the connection of growth and development. सबल मन रखंतु जदि डेवलपमेंट होउची आ ताको 100% लोक माने अफोर्ड करि पारुचंती एक्सेस करि पारुचंती, then we call this is a economic growth. Otherwise we will only understood that this is what your growth, but we are not developed, we're still in underdeveloped condition. So India problem hela seya we do have a education system which now from the previous 2 years ko dekhi dele आज के date रे Indian educational system grow by 30%. That means more and more public schools or private schools are being opened by the government. Now the private schools charging to the customers a school going girl or boy of class 1 with an admission fee of 60,000, 70,000, 80,000, which is non-affordable for the people who are average earners. So what is the reason of creating this large number of schools where people are not able to avail it? बुझी पाउछन एटा नै जन हेल्थ केयर गला एटा हे गला कोन एजुकेशन आ गोटे बड़ सेक्टर को आसु सेटा ला सर्विस सेक्टर. नाउ सर्विस सेक्टर भी सेमती बहुत अधिका ग्रोथ होउची तार इंडिया रे बहुत अधिका ग्रोथ, but the people cannot avail it. Fine. When people cannot avail it, so what is the meaning of that growth? There is no meaning of growth. से केवल ग्रोथ टा कोन सब्सटेंशियल ही रही जाउची. It is something which is called outlook, but it was not came along with the development. Now economic development kon kochi na third 3/4 of the Indian population are engaged in agricultural working with the primitive tools and techniques as that destitute landless laborers. It is a history upon jani thanto highly insecure or small plots holder. Literacy rate 40%, average life is expectancy to 2/3 of the year. And the country was experienced an increase in the per capita income, and especially in the since 1980, the reduction of poverty and infant mortality rates are being changed. So it is like na gote specific statistics economic development na 1980 ru ame actually economic development ado ku jauchi. It was not yet we are developed. Yes, where growth was there, but we are yet not developed. We are slowly moving towards development. Now, what are the different factors that is influencing economic developments? That was came along with the political stability, macroeconomic stability, level of infrastructure jette badhibo, sette growth hobo, development hobo, natural resources that you have to optimum or use at its best. Fine. So in that way also the growth was being seen. Educational standard jodi badhuchi apankara tahale bi apan economic growth dekhibe and development dekhibe. Saving rates and foreigners jodi badhuchi, barriers to trade jodi kamuchi tahale bi we can see this economic development at certain time. Now what do you understood by tike khali descriptions naba ei points kudara? What do you understood by political stability? Political stability means it doesn't mean ki ame pura barsha barsha dhari gotiye party amku rule karibo. No, political stability comes along with the rule and regulation stability, the stability in economic policies, the stability in political policies, the stability in legal policies, the stability in regulatory policies. Eita jodi apankara gote stable period ପାଇଁ ki gote stable ହେଇକି ରହିବ, then we could say that the development must be ahead. Fine. So rule regulation jaha bhi Indian political system banauchi, that has to be properly taken care, how it is being implemented and how after implemented it has to be controlled. So political stability kochi apno jaha bhi acts, rules, regulations anuchandi, that has to be properly taken care. And not only properly taken care, it has to be regulated and implemented and controlled eventually. So that is what the first point, that was called political stability. Macroeconomical stability, macroeconomical points kon asla mu B re apankara B neithili jothre me padithili macroeconomic kon. Macroeconomic under re points aschi kon na macroeconomic policy, macroeconomic policy, economic system, interest rate, purchasing parity rate, national income, individual income, human capital development. एगुड़ा हला गोटे गोटे point कहार macroeconomic theory रो. ए जो प्रति point रहिला, started with economic system to economic policy, ए सबुरे जदि आपण stability देखुचंती. Fine, economic policy is a very good policy and it's a stable policy. Economic system is a very good system and it's a stable system. Interest rates are not being very fluctuative, it is stable. Purchasing parity of the customer is very high and it is stable. Now, if these are stable, then it was also acting as a catalytic agent for the economic development. Then level of infrastructure. Jodi level of infrastructure badhuchi, ta mane samasthang pakhre nijor ghar rahuchi, nijor infrastructure rahuchi, organizations mane nijor infrastructure rahuchi, then also you could see economic development. Natural resources. So we all know that India is full of natural resources. If all the natural resources is properly utilized by us, jadi sabujaka natural resources is properly utilized by us by optimum use. Joti darkar nahi natural resources apan use karantuni. Joti darkar achi, you try to reduce the use of natural resources. You try to reduce kete kam apana natural resources use karibe, so that you could able to conserve it. Then educational standard. Ajika date re apankar jo NEP ko jo new educational policy, if you see the NEP, it is called skill based education. Apankar ajika date re pen and paper bohi khata re patha kom, skill based education ko sarkar besi emphasis dauchandi. Now what do you understood by skill based education? Skill based education kahile kon, jota apankar practical education adhika rahibo. Like gote graduation pila chahile computer technology bisare padibo, mechanical technology bisare gote normal BA pila से एसी रिपेयरेशन पढ़िबो ता माने कोन दिस स्किल बेस्ड एजुकेशन क्रिएट पीपल सेल्फ इंडिपेंडेंट स्किल बेस्ड एजुकेशन कोन आपन को इंडिपेंडेंसी दबो आपन जदी चाकरी टे न खोजी पारुचंदी आपन निजर भरण पोषण करिया को आपन पर किछि स्किल थिबो ता पय किछि अलग आपन पाठ पढिया को पड़िबो ना that was called increasing the educational standard जोटी की education now becomes skill based education rather than book based education आपण ए टू इंडिया बाहर को कोड भी पढंतु पाठ पढिया पेंगी सेठी देखिबे क्लासरूम टीचिंग्स आर वेरी मिनिमम open house teaching skill based education practical educations are very high that's why maybe से माने पाठ और ब्रेन रे कम थांतो but practical information है तांको पाखरे बहुत अधिक information थाए in comparison to Indian population. So now India also moving towards that particular kind of education जोटी के से माने practical education they are focusing to practical education in comparison to you know theory based education. हम माने कोन theory based education पढुछु एबे आसे जीव कोन practical based education. Then came to the next point saving rates and foreign arts if it is controlled. Saving rates आपण जत्ते अधिक लोकन को मोटिवेट करिवे एटा फाइनेंस को आस जाउची फाइनेंशियल सेक्टर को आसुची. So if the financial sector motivate people to make investment जत्ते आपण लोकन को मोटिवेट करिवे भाई इन्वेस्टमेंट कर सेविंग्स नै कि बैंक रे रख या तो फिर कोनोसी फाइनेंशियल इंस्टीट्यूशन रे रख सेते अधिक आपनकर फाइनेंशियल इंस्टीट्यूशन स्ट्रांग होबो and jette apankar financial institution strong hobo your economic development also came along with that fine jodi apankar desar paisa nahi tale economic development hobo kemti it was not possible so it was very essential that your all saving rates has to be promoted along with the you know try to drag people to make investment and the next one is called foreign ads. Also you have to focus to the foreign ads so that it will be highly you know highly motivate people to make an investment in foreign ads. Then the last one is barriers to trade. So it was always recommended to drag down the barrier to certain level. आपण जदी कोनी इन्वेस्टमेंट करूचंती और प्रोडक्ट को आपण मार्केट के छाडुचंती you have to see certain barriers. So say economic B रे हमर पढाई थिला barriers कोन to the economic you know market to the market barriers हला आपनकर 5 force मंथ को जदी portals 5 force model I have told you that entry barriers कोन so how to reduce that entry barriers also सेठी पढाई थिला so सबले एटा गोटे simple जिंसो if you have to remember that whatever economic development we are seeing that is incomplete if that is no reduction of barriers. So it is essential to reduce the barriers and so that the people have entho towards investment. So this is what factors influencing economic development. One more point that is being left for tomorrow class that is economic reformation. First unit eta gote rahila we will definitely try to complete it economic reformation and then we will move to the second unit. Okay, anything you want to ask Pilamane? Jodi kichi pachare rachi pacharantu.
Good morning, madam.
Good morning.
Madam, second semi ro duita paper mu exam deini sir kemti kari
Second semester ro paper dita deina hanti exam to examination ta apan ko notice ta jaichi pari आपण आउ गोटे काम करि परिबे if someone is there in at your Bhubaneswar जदि आपण कर कि अछंती you can ask them to come to TTC हमें जो फॉर्म फिल अप आरंभ कलुनी ऑफलाइन ता ऑनलाइन ता टिके समय लागुची कारण से माने बिल्डेक्स रो विजार्ड रे पकेबे तो टिके समय लागुची बट ऑफलाइन ता आरंभ होई गलानी if you send someone आपनकर सेकंड सेमिस्टर लागि छि माने 1590 की केते फॉर्म फिल अप फी रहउची 1600 टंका देके पठंतु जहा खर्च हो बाकी से फेरे कि नेबे डीडीसी आसीबे कोन पेपर रे बैक लागि छि तार कॉपी टे देथिबे सो हमें डीडीसी रे तको ऑफलाइन करे दे परिबो अबिका देन किछि दिन परे ऑनलाइन स्टार्ट हे जिवो से माने बिल्डेक्स रे एंट्री करचंदी वंस एंट्री ओवर देन बिल्डेक्स रे भी आपण ऑनलाइन कर परिबे but jodi someone is available in your near dear ke bi available achandi se bi kari paribe but jetale ame eta bi pilanku gote request karibu jetale pila mane online karibe setebele semane tankara receipt ta amo saita share karibe in this personally mo saita share kardele bi chalibo
Okay, ma'am.
fine mate personally share kardele bi chalibo so eta apana dekhibe jetale online karibe you have to because both time re build access skip he jauchi parikha time re apankara asuni form fill up heichi beli so चेष्टा करिवे हम सहित रिसिप्ट ता जो डीडीसी रो रिसिप्ट ता शेयर कर दबा
Okay.
okay sir is there and sir will pursue I am taking the leave thank you so much tomorrow for the same time रे हमें माने